Every subcontractor knows about problems like the labor shortage or schedule delays, but very few notice the problems behind these three overlooked symptoms. And number three is a game changer for you personally. I've been in the construction industry for 10 years, focusing on operations and financial stability to support growth. I have seen hundreds of subcontracting companies listing lessons learned, but no one ever takes it further than that. I've seen subcontractors fail from struggling to retain people to a toxic company culture. But these three symptoms are ultimately signaling your subcontracting business is on the verge of failure. Look, owning a subcontracting business is extremely overwhelming. There are so many industry experts and consultants, you just don't know where to turn or who to trust. On top of your typical day-to-day work, you don't even have time to vet who the right person to help might even be, let alone figure out the cause yourself to all these reoccurring problems. All you know is you feel the weight building from the symptoms and scrambling to put a band-aid on the situation every time. The good news is, now that you've found my video, I can help you identify them. Today, I'll break down the top 3 overlooked symptoms signaling your subcontracting business could fail at any moment. What's up, y'all? I'm Josh Luebker. If you're looking for content on subcontracting operations and finance, check out my YouTube channel for more. If you're burned out from any of these symptoms, contact me for support. And with that, let's get into it. Symptom number 1. Imagine this. Have you ever woken up at 3 a.m. just beside yourself, thinking, how am I going to get through this week? You lay in bed awake for hours, just mulling over the worry of how are you going to collect enough money this week to pay your bills. You've already exhausted your small business loans from the bank. You've already taken a few weather days this week, and you just don't know where you're going to get that $24,000 to pay your team for this week. Every subcontracting company struggles with symptom number 1, but they write it off as just the way things are in construction. It doesn't just affect you, though. Your people see you pay them late every week, and they are getting tired of being stressed in their own lives, struggling to pay their own bills. The problem isn't making enough money on projects. The problem is collecting the money fast enough. There's such an easy solution for this symptom. All you have to do is adjust your billing strategy. Consider ways to forward bill so you aren't fronting money to build someone else's dream. That takes us to symptom number 2 that you might be experiencing. This one creeps up on owners so unexpectedly. Picture this. You've been taking a potential general contractor client to lunch for months. You've been positioning yourself as able to staff that project that their current subcontractors are struggling to do. They finally decide after 10 months, we'll give you a chance. But when you finally get to that point, it's not what it seems. You're met with a contract that your lawyer reviews and gives a ton of pushback on. Your lawyer even goes as far as saying, these are the worst contract terms I have ever seen in 30 years of practicing. But what can you do? You take on that project anyway. because you worked so hard to land that client and you don't want to ruin your reputation. You have that feeling in your gut though. You're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. It starts out like this. The contractor starts asking for favors like, will you hook up my job site trailer? Then the 15-minute morning huddles turn into a couple times a week attending a 2-hour meeting. And eventually, the general contractor starts to pressure you into doubling your manpower, citing the contract because they don't think there's enough progress happening to meet their already delayed schedule. You obviously don't have the manpower or the money budgeted to do any of those requests, but you break and get temps anyway to give the illusion that you know what you're doing. The problem behind this symptom is you're letting the general contractor push you around. You are the industry expert and you know what it takes to do your trade. So have the confidence to say no. Finally, symptom number 3. Think about your latest work week. What was the most time consuming thing you dealt with? Maybe it's a problem on site with an employee no showing for the 4th time this month. Maybe it's a change order that was just so important that it was keeping the project from progressing and staying on track. Or maybe it was the latest estimate due on Friday at 5 p.m. and you stayed late at the office every day last week to make sure those numbers were perfect. That was me as a project manager. I was burning myself out from both ends. I was the person that had to be part of the solution. I was creating the reputation for myself that if there was a problem, give it to Josh and he will make it go away. But that's not healthy. I was absent from my wife and our newborn son. I was constantly stressed the entire weekend thinking of what I had to do when he would go to bed at night, just to keep on top of all the other work that I had to do that coming week. I couldn't answer all the phone calls, emails, and texts because there were so many problems and no one else seemed to know how to fix any of them. The problem wasn't that my team couldn't solve those issues. The problem was I created a culture that I had to be involved in every solution for every problem. I learned to create a process to empower people to feel confident they could make a great decision, even if it wasn't what I would have done. Remember, the only reason you started your business was to have financial freedom and less stress working for someone else. So stop the cycle and go thrive.